Welcome to Emma's Stories, the place where love, heartbreak, and triumph come to life. I'm Emma, your storyteller, and today I have a tale that will sweep you off your feet. It's called The Kiss That Changed Her Life, a journey of unexpected romance, betrayal, and the strength to rise above it all. If you love stories that tug at your heartstrings and keep you on the edge of your seat, you're in the right place. So grab a cozy blanket, maybe a cup of tea, and let's dive into this beautiful adventure together. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a story from me. Picture this. It's a bustling afternoon at JFK Airport in New York City. Travelers rush through the terminals, voices echo over the intercoms, and amidst the chaos stands Emily Carter. She's 25, with a sharp mind and a heart's been through too much already. Emily is a woman who knows how to stand on her own. At 18, she left her toxic family behind and built a life for herself, relying on no one. Melinda says, but today she's not alone, and not by choice. Her ex-boyfriend, James Sullivan, is there, chasing her through the crowd. His voice cuts through the noise, demanding she come back to him. Beside him is Chloe Bennett, her half-sister, smirking with a smugness that makes Emily's stomach turn. James and Chloe have been sneaking around behind her back for months, and now they think they can drag her back into their mess. Emily feels trapped. Her heart races as she weaves through the sea of people, desperate for an escape. James is relentless, calling her name, his tone dripping with arrogance. She can't face him. Not after the lies. Not after he shattered her trust. That's when she spots him. A stranger standing near the coffee stand, calm and unbothered by the chaos around him. He's tall, with a quiet strength in his stance, wearing a simple jacket that hides more than it reveals. His name is Ryan Matthews, but Emily don't know that yet. To her, Hez just a lifeline in a storm. Without thinking, Emily makes a split-second decision. She strides up to Ryan, grabs his arm, and before he can say a word, she pulls him into a kiss. It's bold, it's reckless, and it shuts James up instantly. The crowd fades away as Ryan, surprised but quick on his feet, plays along. His lips are warm, steady, and for a moment, Emily forgets why she's even doing this. When they pull apart, James is frozen, his face a mix of shock and fury. Chloe sneers, but Emily don't care. She's free, at least for now. Ryan looks at her, his eyes curious but kind. He doesn't ask questions right away. Instead, he says something that catches her off guard. How about we make this official? Emily blinks, thinking he's joking, but there's a seriousness in his voice. Ryan, he adds, extending a hand. Just got back from a long trip, and I could use some company. She laughs, assuming he's just flirting, but then he doubles down. Marry me, right now. It'll get that guy off your back for good. Emily's jaw drops. This stranger, this random guy at the airport, is offering her a way out. It's insane, but something in his steady gaze makes her trust him. Before she knows it, they're at the airport chapel. It's a whirlwind, a blur of paperwork, and a quick I do. Emily Carter becomes Emily Matthews in less than an hour. She don't know it yet, but this impulsive kiss has just tied her life to one of the most powerful men in America. Ryan Matthews, in just some guy she met at the coffee stand. Has a former Navy SEAL, freshly retired, and the secret heir to Matthews Enterprises, a multi-billion-dollar empire that dominates New York and beyond. But for now, he keeps that part hidden, letting Emily think Hez just a regular man who's good at solving problems. So there they are, Emily Carter, now Emily Matthews, and Ryan Matthews, standing outside that tiny airport chapel at JFK. She's still reeling from what just happened, her mind racing with a mix of disbelief and adrenaline. Ryan, on the other hand, looks perfectly calm, like marrying a stranger is just another Tuesday for him. He gives her a small smile, the kind that says he knows more than Hez letting on, and offers to buy her a coffee. Emily agrees, mostly because she needs a moment to process the fact that she's now legally tied to this guy she met less than an hour ago. They sit at a corner table in the airport's busy cafe, the hum of travelers filling the air. Emily takes a sip of her latte and finally asks, "So, Ryan, Why did you do that? I mean, who just marries someone to help them out? Ryan shrugs, his voice low and steady. I've seen worse things than a jerk ex-boyfriend, trust me. Besides, you looked like you needed a win. His words are simple, but there's a weight to them that makes Emily wonder what Hez been through. He don't elaborate, just sips his black coffee and watches her with those quiet, observant eyes. Over the next few days, Emily starts to see more of who Ryan is, or at least who he seems to be. He tells her he's a retired soldier just back from years overseas, and now he's figuring out what comes next. He lives in a modest apartment in Brooklyn, nothing fancy, just a couch, a few books, and a fridge with more takeout containers than groceries. Emily likes that about him, his simplicity. It feels real, a stark contrast to the chaos of her old. She's been on her own since 18, when she walked away from her family after years of neglect and manipulation. Her father, Richard Carter, runs Carter Industries, a struggling company on the brink of collapse. Her mother died when she was young, and her stepmother, Linda Carter, turned her childhood into a nightmare. Emily swore she'd never go back. And she hasn't. But her past aren't done with her yet. A week after the airport madness, Emily gets a call from Richard. His voice is syrupy sweet, the kind of fake charm she's learned to distrust. Emily, honey, we need to talk. The companion's in trouble and you could really help us out. She knows where this is going before he even finishes. He wants her to meet Henry Dawson, a sleazy real estate tycoon twice her age who could bail out Carter Industries if she plays nice. Emily cuts him off cold. I'm not your pawn, Dad. I left that life behind years ago. Don't call me again. She hangs up, her hands shaking, but she feels a flicker of pride. She's not that scared little girl anymore. Ryan overhears the tail end of the call as he walks into her tiny rented room, carrying a bag of Chinese takeout. He dull pry, just sets the food down and asks, "Everything okay?" Emily nods, forcing a smile. Just family stuff, nothing new. He dull push, but there's something in the way he looks at her, like he gets it more than he lets on. They eat in comfortable silence, sharing dumplings and fried rice, and for the first time in a long while, Emily feels like she's not alone. That peace doth last. James Sullivan, her ex, shows up at her doorstep a few days later, Chloe tagging along like his personal cheerleader. James bangs on the door, yelling about how she can't just walk away from him. "You think you can replace me with some nobody?" he shouts, his voice echoing through the hall. Chloe chimes in, all venom and spite. "Has a loser, Emily." "You're embarrassing yourself." Emily freezes, her heart pounding, but before she can respond, Ryan steps in. Has been staying over more often, helping her feel safe. And now he opens the door, towering over James with a calm that feels dangerous. "You need to leave," Ryan says, his tone flat but firm. James laughs, sizing him up. "And who are you, huh? Her rebound?" Ryan doesn't flinch. "I'm her husband now. Get out before I make you." James scoffs, but there's a flicker of doubt in his eyes. Chloe tugs at his arm, muttering something about not worth it, and they slink away, defeated. Emily lets out a breath she don't know she was holding. "Thanks," she says, her voice soft. Ryan just nods, like it's no big deal, but she catches the hint of a grin. "Any time." Their bond grows stronger with every passing day. Ryan takes her to a diner in Brooklyn one night, the kind with sticky tables and neon signs. They talk about everything and nothing. Her love for old romance novels, his knack for fixing things around the apartment. Hez funny in a quiet way, dropping little comments that make her laugh when she least expects it. Like when she asks if Hez ever been married before, and he deadpans. "Nope. You're my first crazy idea." She swats his arm, grinning, and for a moment, she forgets the weight of her past. But trouble keeps knocking. Richard and Linda escalate their plan, sending Henry Dawson himself to track Emily down. He corners her outside her job at a small translation agency, his oily smile making her skin crawl. "Marry me, Miss Carter, and I'll save your father's company. You'll live like a queen," he says, leaning too close. Emily steps back, her voice steady. I'd rather sleep on the street than touch you. She walks away, head high, but her hands tremble as she texts Ryan. Hez there in minutes, pulling up in a beat-up truck that don't match the speed he must have driven. You okay? He asks, scanning her face. She nods and he pulls her into a quick, protective hug. I'm fine now, she says, meaning it. What Emily don't know is that Ryan ain't just a soldier with a good heart, has been keeping a secret. One's about to change everything. A few nights later, they're at her place, watching a movie, when her phone buzzes with a message from Chloe. It's a photo from some fancy event in Manhattan, James smirking next to her with a caption, "Enjoy your broke husband while we live it up." Emily rolls her eyes, but Ryan glances at the screen and mutters. They have no idea. She catches the edge in his voice. What do you mean? She asks, turning to him. He hesitates, then says, let's just say I could buy that party and not even notice the cost. Emily's brow furrows. Wait, what? Ryan takes a deep breath, his casual facade slipping just enough to hint at the truth. I'm not who you think I am, Emily. Not even close. Emily stares at Ryan, her popcorn forgotten on the couch beside her. The movie hums in the background, but all she can hear is his last sentence echoing in her head. I'm not who you think I am, Emily. Not even close. She blinks, trying to process. What do you mean by that? She asks, her voice a mix of confusion and curiosity. Ryan runs a hand through his hair, a rare sign he's nervous. He stands up, pacing her small living room like he's working up to something big. Finally, he stops and looks at her. Ever heard of Matthews Enterprises? He says. Emily nods slowly. Yeah, the huge company that owns half of New York. What about it? Ryan meets her gaze, steady now. I'm the guy who runs it. Or, well, I will be, once I stop hiding from it. Her jaw drops. She waits for the punchline, but it doesn't come. You're serious? She says, standing up too, her heart pounding. You're telling me you're some billionaire CEO? Ryan nods, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Technically, yeah. My family owns it. I was raised to take over, but I joined the Navy SEALs instead. Been dodging that life for years. Just got back, and I guess marrying you was my way of stalling a little longer. Emily laughs, a sharp, incredulous sound. Stalling? You married me to avoid a boardroom. He shrugs, grinning now. Worked, didn't it? James hasn't bothered you since. She shakes her head, still processing. So all this time, the truck, the takeout, the Brooklyn apartment, that's just what, a cover. Ryan sits back down, closer to her now. Not a cover. It's me, the real me, the suits and the money. That's the part I don't care about. But I've got resources, Emily, and I'm done watching people mess with you. She searches his face, looking for a lie, but all she sees is that same steady guy who kissed her back at the airport. Okay, she says finally, but if you're loaded, why not just tell me? He leans in, voice low. Because I wanted you to like me for me, not the bank account. Emily doesn't know what to say to that. Part of her wants to be mad he kept it secret, but another part, the bigger part, feels warm, like maybe this crazy marriage isn't so crazy after all. Before she can figure it out, life throws another curveball. The next evening, they're invited to a charity gala in Manhattan, some glitzy event Ryan says he can't skip. Emily borrows a dress from a coworker, feeling out of place among the sparkling chandeliers and designer suits. Ryan, though, fits right in, even in his simple jacket. People nod to him, whisper his name, and Emily starts to see the power he's been downplaying. That's when trouble walks in. James Sullivan struts through the crowd, Chloe on his arm, both dressed like they own the place. Emily tenses, but Ryan squeezes her hand. I've got this, he murmurs. James spots them and saunters over, a smirk plastered on his face. Well, look at you, playing dress-up with your nobody husband, he says, loud enough for heads to turn. Chloe giggles, eyeing Ryan like he's a joke. Heard you're unemployed now, soldier boy? What's next, begging on the street? Emily opens her mouth to snap back, but Ryan beats her to it. Funny you mention jobs, James. I hear Matthews Enterprises just rejected your application. Something about fake credentials. James goes pale, his smirk vanishing. The crowd murmurs, and Chloe's eyes widen. What are you talking about? She sputters. Ryan steps forward, voice calm but cutting. I'm talking about the fact that I run this company, and I don't hire liars. Security's on their way to show you out. Enjoy the walk. Sure enough, 2 guards appear and James stumbles back, dragging Chloe with him as the room watches in stunned silence. Emily looks at Ryan, her heart racing. You didn't have to do that, she says quietly. He shrugs. Yeah, I did. Nobody talks to my wife like that. The gala should have been a victory, but it opens a new can of worms. Later that night, as they're leaving, a woman steps into their path. She's stunning, all sharp cheekbones and cold confidence, her red dress screaming money. Ryan tenses beside Emily, and she knows this isn't good. Olivia Harper, the woman says, extending a hand Emily doesn't take. Ryan's ex, heard he got married, had to see the lucky girl for myself. Emily squares her shoulders. Nice to meet you too, she says, voice dry. Olivia smirks, turning to Ryan. You traded me for this? Cute? Ryan's jaw tightens. We were done years ago, Olivia. Move on. She laughs, a sharp sound. Oh, I will, but you'll regret it. Emily doesn't like the look in Olivia's eyes, and she's right to worry. The next day, Ryan gets a call from his sister, Sophie Matthews, who's been keeping an eye on the family business while he's been off the grid. There's trouble, Sophie says, her voice tight over speakerphone. Ethan's making moves. Ethan Matthews? Ryan's cousin has always wanted control of Matthews Enterprises. He's been quiet since Ryan got back, but now he's stirring things up, and Sophie thinks he's got help. Ryan hangs up, rubbing his temples. Ethan's a problem, he tells Emily. Always has been. Greedy, ruthless, the kind of guy who'd sell out his own blood for a profit. Emily frowns. Why now? Ryan glances at her, hesitant. Probably because I'm not hiding anymore. Marrying you, showing up at that gala, it's a signal I'm stepping back into the game, and Ethan doesn't like competition. She nods, piecing it together. So, he's coming for you? Ryan's smile is grim. He can try. But he's not the only one I'm watching. Olivia's got her claws in this too. Emily's stomach twists. You think she's working with him? Ryan nods. She's got the motive. I walked away from her and she's never forgiven me. Now she's got a chance to hit back. Over the next week, the threats start small but grow fast. Emily finds a snide note slipped under her door, signed with Olivia's initials. James and Chloe crash a lunch date, taunting her until Ryan shuts them down again. Then Carter Industries ups the pressure. Richard calls, begging Emily to reconsider Henry Dawson, claiming the company's days away from bankruptcy. When she refuses, Linda shows up at her workplace, all fake tears and guilt trips. You're killing us, Emily. We're family. Emily laughs bitterly. You stopped being family when you treated me like trash. Linda's mask slips, her eyes hard. You'll regret this. That night, Ryan pulls Emily aside, his face serious. They're not stopping, he says. Richard, Linda, James, Chloe, now Olivia and Ethan. They're circling like vultures. I can handle it, but you need to know what you're in for. Emily takes his hand, her voice firm. I'm not running. Whatever they throw at us, we face it together. Ryan looks at her, something softening in his eyes. Deal, he says, pulling her close. But what neither of them knows is how deep the betrayal runs, or how much it's about to cost them. Emily sits on the edge of her couch, Ryan's arm around her as he finishes his warning about the vultures circling them. The air feels heavy, charged with the weight of everything piling up. She squeezes his hand, her resolve hardening. Together, she says, and he nods, pulling her closer. For a moment, it's just them against the world, a quiet bubble in the storm. But that bubble bursts faster than either of them expects. The next morning, Emily's phone rings, shattering the peace. It's a number she hasn't seen in years, her grandmother Margaret, the only family she's ever truly had. Margaret raised her after her mother Anna died until Emily left at 18 to escape the Carters. Her voice is weak on the line. Emily, I need you. I'm not doing so well. Emily's heart drops. She grabs her coat, barely explaining to Ryan before she's out the door, heading to the small house in Queens where Margaret lives alone. When she arrives, Margaret is frail, propped up in bed, her hands trembling. She smiles faintly as Emily rushes to her side. "My girl," she whispers, "you've grown so strong." Emily fights back tears, kneeling beside her. "What's wrong, Grandma?" Margaret sighs, her breath shallow. "Had a stroke last night. Didn't want to bother you, but I guess it's time." Emily shakes her head, panic rising. "You're not bothering me. I'm getting you to a hospital, now." Ryan meets them there, arranging everything with a speed Emily doesn't question. Doctors swarm around, but the news isn't good. Margaret's condition is critical, and even if she pulls through, she'll need constant care. Emily stays by her side, holding her hand as Margaret drifts in and out. Between the beeping machines and sterile walls, Margaret murmurs something that stops Emily cold. "Your mother," she says, her voice barely audible. "It wasn't suicide, Emily. Richard and Linda, they did it." Emily freezes, her mind reeling. "What?" she chokes out. Margaret's eyes flutter shut, too weak to say more, leaving Emily with a jagged piece of truth she can't unhear. Days later, Margaret slips away. Emily stands by her hospital bed, numb, as the heart monitor flatlines. Ryan wraps his arms around her, but she barely feels it. Her grandmother is gone, the last tether to her old life severed. At the funeral, a small gathering in a rainy Queens cemetery, Emily stares at the headstone, Margaret's name carved beside Anna's. That whispered confession gnaws at her. She turns to Ryan, her voice low. She said, "My mom didn't kill herself. Richard and Linda did something. I need to know the truth." Ryan's jaw tightens, but he nods. "Then we'll find it, whatever it takes." They start digging, and it doesn't take long for the pieces to fall into place. Ryan uses his connections at Matthews Enterprises to pull old records, hire investigators, anything to uncover what happened. What they find is uglier than Emily imagined. Anna Carter didn't die by her own hand in that fire 15 years ago. Richard and Linda staged it, killed her to take full control of Carter Industries, a company Anna had built from nothing. They'd been bleeding it dry ever since, and now it's crumbling. Emily's hands shake as she reads the evidence, a mix of fury and grief boiling inside her. "They took her from me," she says, her voice breaking. Ryan pulls her close. "They won't get away with it, I promise." Revenge becomes her mission, and Ryan's right there with her. He pulls strings behind the scenes, buying up Carter Industries' debt through shell companies, squeezing Richard and Linda until they're desperate. Emily confronts them at their gaudy Long Island mansion, the place she once called home. Richard opens the door, all fake smiles. "Emily, good to see you. Come in, let's talk." She steps inside, Ryan at her back, and cuts through the pleasantries. "I know what you did to Mom," she says, her voice like steel. Richard's smile falters, but Linda steps in, all venom. "You've got no proof, little girl. You're just mad we didn't coddle you." Emily doesn't flinch. "I don't need proof to ruin you," she says. "Ryan's already done that. Carter Industries is finished. We own it now." Richard's face goes red. "You can't do that. It's mine." Emily leans in, eyes blazing. "It was hers. You stole it, and I'm taking it back." She turns to leave, but Linda grabs her arm, hissing, "You'll pay for this." Ryan steps between them, his presence a wall. "Touch her again, and you'll regret it," he says, voice low and deadly. They walk out, leaving Richard and Linda scrambling as their empire collapses. But the fight's not over. James and Chloe resurface, angrier than ever. James corners Emily outside her apartment, his ego bruised from the gala. "You think you're better than me now?" he sneers. "That rich guy won't save you forever." Emily stands tall, unafraid. "He doesn't need to save me. I'm doing fine on my own." Ryan appears just in time, sending James running with a single glare. Chloe, though, lingers, her jealousy festering. She texts Emily later, a cryptic threat. Watch your back. Emily shows it to Ryan, who frowns. She's not smart enough to do real damage, he says, but Olivia is. Olivia Harper's been busy. She's teamed up with Ethan Matthews, Ryan's cousin, and they're plotting something big. Sophie calls again, her voice tense. Ethan's pushing the board to oust Ryan, she says. He's got Olivia feeding him dirt, twisting stories to make Ryan look weak. Emily listens, her stomach sinking. What kind of dirt? She asks. Sophie hesitates. Lies about you, that you're a gold digger, that Ryan's distracted because of you. It's nonsense, but the board's eating it up. Ryan slams a fist on the table, rare anger flashing in his eyes. They want a war? They'll get one. Emily watches him pace, her mind spinning. This isn't just about her anymore. It's about Ryan, his family, everything he's built. She takes his hand, stopping him mid-step. We can't let them win, she says. Not after everything. He looks at her, his anger softening. You're right. We've got too much to lose. They spend the night strategizing, Ryan pulling in favors, Emily digging through old files for leverage. She finds a lead, a shady deal Ethan made years ago that could sink him. It's a long shot, but it's something. The next blow comes fast. Richard and Linda, cornered and desperate, try one last move. They show up at Emily's work with Henry Dawson in tow, all smiles and threats. Marry him, Richard says, or we'll drag you through the mud. Tell everyone you're the reason Carter Industries failed. Emily laughs, cold and sharp. Go ahead. No one will believe you now. Ryan steps in, his voice cutting through. You're done, Richard. The company's ours, and the cops are looking into Anna's death. Get out! Henry stammers an excuse and bolts, leaving Richard and Linda fuming but powerless. Emily leans against Ryan as they watch them go, exhaustion creeping in. We're close, she says. I can feel it. He kisses her forehead, his voice soft. We're not just close. We're going to end this. But what they don't see is Olivia and Ethan watching from a distance, their plans growing darker. The storm's not over yet, and it's about to hit harder than ever. Emily leans against Ryan, the weight of their victory over Richard and Linda still settling in as they stand outside her office. The air is crisp, the city buzzing around them, but there's a quiet strength in the way they hold each other up. She murmurs about ending it, and Ryan's kiss on her forehead feels like a promise. They head back to his Brooklyn apartment, planning their next move against Olivia and Ethan. The evidence of Ethan's shady deal sits on the table, a thin stack of papers that could topple him if they play it right. Emily flips through it, her mind sharp despite the exhaustion. We need to get this to Sophie, she says. Ryan nods, already texting his sister. Tomorrow, he replies. Board meetings in 2 days. We'll hit them then. But tomorrow doesn't come quietly. Emily wakes to a silent apartment. Ryan gone. His truck still parked outside, but there's a note on the counter in his neat handwriting. Had to handle something. Back soon. Stay safe. Her stomach twists. He's never left like this, not without a word. She calls him, but it goes straight to voicemail. Panic creeps in, and she's about to call Sophie when her phone buzzes, with a text from an unknown number. It's a photo of Ryan, bloodied and unconscious, tied to a chair in some dimly lit room. The message below it is short. Come alone. No cops. Address follows. Emily's hands shake, but her mind snaps into focus. She grabs her jacket, forwarding the text to Sophie with a quick note. Find him. I'm going. The address leads her to an abandoned warehouse in Jersey, all rusted metal and broken windows. She steps inside, heart pounding, and sees Olivia Harper waiting, a smirk on her face. Beside her is a man Emily doesn't recognize, tall and scarred, his presence screaming danger. Victor Kane, he says, voice rough. Old friend of your husband's from the SEAL days. Emily's eyes dart to Ryan, slumped in the chair, still out cold. Let him go, she says, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her. Olivia laughs. Oh, sweetie, you don't call the shots here. Ethan wants Ryan out of the picture, and I want you to suffer. Victor's just the muscle. Emily's mind races. She'd slipped her phone into her pocket before walking in, hitting record and sending her location to Sophie again. It's a gamble, but it's all she has. Why, she asks, stalling. What's Ryan ever done to you? Olivia steps closer, her eyes cold. He picked you over me. Me? I was supposed to be the one by his side, running that empire. Now Ethan's promised me a cut if I help him take it. Emily glances at Ryan, noticing his fingers twitch. He's waking up. She keeps talking. You think Ethan's going to share? He'll ditch you the second he's got what he wants. Victor grunts, impatient. Enough chatter. He pulls a knife, moving toward Ryan, but Emily steps in front of him. Touch him and you'll regret it, she says, her voice fierce. Olivia rolls her eyes. Cute. Get her out of the way. Victor grabs Emily's arm, dragging her back, but she twists free, shoving him hard. He stumbles, surprised, and now he snaps the ropes loose, lunging at Victor. The two men crash to the ground, fists flying, a brutal blur of trained soldiers. Emily dodges Olivia's lunge, grabbing a rusty pipe from the floor and swinging it at her. Olivia ducks, shrieking, "You'll pay for that!" The fight's chaos, but Ryan's a force. He lands a solid punch, knocking Victor out cold, then turns just as Olivia pulls a gun from her purse. "Drop it!" Ryan says, voice low and lethal. She hesitates, then smirks. "You won't risk her." She aims at Emily, but Ryan's faster. He tackles Olivia, wrenching the gun away as she screams in frustration. Emily runs to him, checking his face, the blood smeared across his cheek. "You okay?" she gasps. He nods, breathless. "Better now." "You?" She manages a shaky laugh. "Never better." There's not enough time to explore all your passion in life. Exploring everything at once is your mission. Sirens wail outside. Sophie bursts in with a team of cops, her face pale but determined. She'd tracked Emily's signal, called in every favor Ryan had in the city. Victor and Olivia are cuffed, dragged off as they spit curses. "Ethan's not here," Ryan mutters, scanning the room. Sophie nods. "He's at the board meeting, thinking you're dead." Ryan's eyes darken. "Then let's finish this." Emily grabs his hand. "Together?" He squeezes back. "Always." They race to Manhattan, straight to the Matthews Enterprises tower. The board meeting's in full swing. Ethan at the head of the table, spinning lies about Ryan's absence. "He's unfit," Ethan says, voice smooth. "I'll take over, stabilize the company." The board murmurs, some nodding, until the doors slam open. Ryan strides in, battered but alive. Emily beside him. Ethan's face goes white. "You're—" he stammers. Ryan cuts him off. "Done, Ethan. You're done." He tosses the evidence of Ethan's shady deal onto the table, papers scattering. Embezzlement, fraud, and now conspiracy. Cops are waiting outside. The room erupts, board members shouting as Ethan bolts for the door, only to be grabbed by security. Emily steps forward, her voice clear. "Matthews Enterprises isn't yours to steal, it's ours to protect." Ryan looks at her, pride in his eyes, and the board claps, a rare show of support. Sophie joins them, grinning. "Nice timing," she says. Ryan pulls Emily close, whispering, "Couldn't have done it without you." She smiles, exhaustion fading. "We're a team." Back at the warehouse, the cops haul Olivia and Victor away, but Emily's mind drifts to Richard and Linda. They're still out there, and the truth about Anna's death burns in her chest. She turns to Ryan as they leave the tower, the city lights glinting off the glass. "We've got one more fight," she says. He nods, understanding. "Your mom deserves justice. Let's give it to her." They head home, battered but unbroken, ready to face the final battle. Ethan's gone, Olivia's finished. But the Carters won't go down easy, and Emily's not about to let them slip away. Emily and Ryan step out of the Matthews Enterprises tower, the night air cool against their bruised skin. The city hums around them, oblivious to the chaos they've just survived. Emily's hand stays in his, her words about one more fight lingering between them. Ryan nods, his eyes steady. They head back to Brooklyn, collapsing onto the couch in his apartment, too wired to sleep. The evidence against Ethan's locked away. Olivia and Victor are in custody, but Richard and Linda still loom like shadows. Emily stares at the ceiling, her voice quiet. "I can't let them walk free, Ryan, not after what they did to my mom." He pulls her close, his arm a solid anchor. "They won't. We'll make sure of it." The next morning, Ryan calls in his best investigators, the ones who dug up Anna's murder. They've found a witness, an old employee of Carter Industries who saw too much the night Anna died. Emily meets him in a diner off the highway, a nervous guy named Tom with graying hair and shaky hands. He spills it all over coffee that goes cold. "Richard and Linda planned it," he says, "staged the fire to look like suicide. I kept quiet because they paid me off, but I can't live with it anymore." Emily records every word, her heart pounding with a mix of relief and rage. Ryan squeezes her shoulder. "We've got them now." They take it to the cops, and within days, Richard and Linda are arrested. The news hits fast, headlines screaming about the Carter Industries scandal. Emily watches their mugshots flash on TV, her chest tight but lighter than it's been in years. Ryan turns off the screen, pulling her into a hug. "It's over," he says. She nods against him, tears slipping free. Justice feels good, but it doesn't bring Anna or Margaret back. Still, with Ryan beside her, she's not alone anymore. Life shifts after that. Ryan sells the Brooklyn apartment, moving them into a house in the Hamptons, a sprawling place with big windows and a yard. Emily teases him about it one morning, sipping coffee on the porch. "Went from broke soldier to mansion owner pretty quick, huh?" He grins, leaning against the railing. "Had to impress my wife somehow." She laughs, and it's real, the kind of laugh she hasn't felt in too long. They're healing, building something new together. A few months later, they're planning a wedding, a real one this time, not the rushed chapel moment at JFK. Emily wants it small, just them and Sophie, but Ryan insists on something bigger. "You deserve it," he says, and she caves because he's right. The day comes, a sunny afternoon in the Hamptons, the lawn decked out in white flowers. Emily walks down the aisle in a simple dress, Ryan waiting in a suit that actually fits him. Sophie's there, beaming, snapping photos like a proud sister. They say their vows, promises of forever, and when Ryan kisses her, the crowd cheers loud enough to shake the trees. After the vows, they steal a moment alone by the water. Emily rests her head on his shoulder, the sound of waves mixing with distant laughter. "I've got news," she says, a shy smile creeping up. He raises an eyebrow. "Yeah?" She takes his hand, pressing it to her stomach. "Twins. A boy and a girl." Ryan's face lights up, pure joy breaking through his usual calm. "You serious?" he says, pulling her into a hug that lifts her off the ground. She laughs, nodding. "Jacob and Sophie, after your sister." He kisses her again, softer this time. "Best day of my life." The party stretches into the night, but Emily and Ryan slip away early, driving back to the house. They're a family now, not just two people who stumbled into each other at an airport. James and Chloe fade into obscurity, their taunts meaningless. Olivia and Ethan face trial, their schemes crumbling. Richard and Linda get life sentences. The truth about Anna finally laid bare. Carter Industries is reborn under Emily's name, a tribute to her mother she runs with Ryan's help. As they sit on their porch, stars overhead, Emily looks at Ryan. "From a kiss to this," she says, shaking her head. He smirks, pulling her close. "Best decision I ever made." She smiles, resting against him, the future wide open. That's it for the kiss that changed her life, folks. Love can start anywhere, even with a stranger at an airport, and it can carry you through anything. Thanks for joining me on Emma's Stories. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time with another tale to warm your heart.